Hello, New Hope Ministry. It's Stephen Dean here again with another homily from the Course of Miracles. The last two homilies we've talked about what the Course of Miracles is actually about, an outline of what it teaches. So I thought in this one we'd actually look at some of the lessons to give you an understanding, so you'll learn an understanding of what the Course of Miracles is. I think one of the most important things to remember on embarking on this is that you are spirit. You have to remember that you are actually spirit. You're not this body you think you are. You know, this body isn't Stephen Dean. This is an ego called Stephen Dean. The self that lives within is an aspect of God. I am truly spirit. I'm not a body at all. You see, as Rufus Spira says, and this is a good one, you just say to yourself, I'm not a body, that is within this body. I'm not a body, I am that which is within this body. You see, I am spirit. So if you remember to say that to yourself as often as you can. I'm not a body, I am that which is within this body. I am spirit. You see. This is the beginning of the road to awakening. Anyway, if we look at these lessons, now part 1, lesson 1. Now it says for you to look round at whatever's in your room and say, like, for instance, where I am here, that tree doesn't mean anything, that post doesn't mean anything, this table doesn't mean anything, that window doesn't mean anything. I go further afield, the sky doesn't mean anything, the clouds don't mean anything. You know, whatever your eyes fall upon, tell yourself that it doesn't mean anything. Okay? Now, the object of these lessons is really you're supposed to do, there's 365 lessons, you're supposed to do one a day, but in our situation, it's not really practical to do that. So I'll discuss the earlier lessons with you so you get an idea of what these lessons actually are. You see, like day 1, you just look around and say nothing in this room means anything. Basically, you know, the pen don't mean nothing, my foot doesn't mean anything, you know. And then the lesson advances. The next day would be, I've given everything I see in this room all the meaning that it has for me. Now, what it means by that, say for example, like, that cup doesn't mean anything, this table doesn't mean anything, this chair doesn't mean anything. All the meaning they do have, I've given it to them. You know, like this cup, for example. I mean, really, all it is a shape. It's a shape that holds tea by gravity. You see, but I've figured all this out. This cup, it's gravity, holds the tea in it, there's tea in it, there's sugar in it, there's milk in it, or whatever. But it's all stuff I've named. I name everything. That's the tree, that's the fence, right? And all the meaning it has, I've given it. You see? I mean, you might say, like, well, somebody told you what they are, but I've still given it the meaning. Those other people give me the meaning, and I give it to the meaning myself. You get me? I just give everything meaning. The next lesson. I do not understand anything I see in this room. On the street, from the window, from the gate. I don't understand anything I see. Right? And what that's saying is, once you've established that you've given meaning to everything around you, really, you don't understand anything you've seen. You don't understand anything here. We've just given it all the meaning it has. Not just you. I mean, everybody does this. It's a passage of life for everybody. Now, the thoughts that I have about the things in the room, the thoughts that I have about the table, the thoughts that I have about the fence or the tree or the squirrel in the tree, they don't mean anything. They're just my thoughts. Somebody else might think something else about the squirrel in the tree, but they're their thoughts. Is the squirrel in the tree? Well, there's something up in the tree. There's always stuff in dreams. You know, really, as I said last week, everything is God. But when we fell asleep, we named everything ourselves. That's a tree, that's a fence, that's a house, but really it's all God. Our world is what we've named it. His world is just God. And also further to that, like the lesson 5, I'm never upset for the reason I think. You aren't. You get upset, you think, oh, that's someone's fault, or that thing's fault. If that hadn't have happened, this wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't be upset. But it's all blame. It's all putting blame outside of yourself. And if you're upset, it's your perception has made you upset. You see? Nobody ever really makes you angry. You just decide to get angry because you don't like what you're hearing. Your ego sets a boundary. If you say anything that goes over that boundary, I'm going to get annoyed. But really, you can just choose not to be annoyed. Everything is a choice. Everything. That's what it means by I'm never upset for the reason I think. And the sixth lesson, it goes on to explain why you're upset. And it is, I'm upset because I see something that's not there. Like this. I'm angry at so-and-so because I see something that's not there. I'm worried about so-and-so because I see something that's not there. What you're seeing is your thoughts. And really they're not there. It's just your thoughts. You see? I think that's a tree. I think that's a fence. I think that's a house. I think that's a car. But they're just my thoughts. Really, they're just all God. All God in a dream. We're all inside the mind of God. We are the dreaming aspects. You could say God himself isn't dreaming. You know, when we lie asleep at night, our body's functioning fully, just as well as it does when we're awake. But in our sleeping mind, all sorts of things are going on. And the aspects of my dream in there are having their little adventure. And when I wake up, their little adventure's over. Just like when we wake up to this, to the truth of what this all is. And our little venture of thinking it's all our thoughts is over. Then we see it's God again. And that's awakening, or enlightenment as the Buddhists call it. You see? And this is what we're all aiming for. I think that'll be enough for 1 week. That's from lessons 1 to 6. And the whole idea, as I've said to you, is get you to realise that the world around you isn't what you think it is. You know. The world around you, by its very nature, being the world of fear as opposed to God's world of love, although love is here, of course, but also fear is here. And this is what we've got to do. We've got to realise that fear isn't real. Fear is born of our thoughts. You know, those monks in Tibet who sit up in those monasteries, spend their lives gardening and meditating, getting close to home, all they're doing is sitting there, not thinking. It's a good idea to get a regular practice of meditation, even for just 10 minutes or so a day. Learn how to clear your mind of thought. Because this world is all about thought. God's world is all about knowledge. Because when we're back home in that oneness, we know everything. Because all is one. Here it's all separated. Okay. Well, that's my homily for this week. Lovely to be here again. And I'll see you next week. God bless you all. Bye.